Yep, this is going to be a Frank segment. It's his time to shine, and as much as it pains me to tell this story, I don't think I can leave it out. So here it goes. In case you've forgotten, Frank is the biker with the gnarly road rash seared into his face. Aside from Nona, he's the only other person that comes in literally every day. Honestly, he's not my favorite, but all things considered, Frank isn't that bad. Don't get me wrong, I like the guy. He seems like a decent person. He's just really corny. I think what gets on my nerves the most about him is his dad jokes. I'm all good for a dad joke every once in a while, aren't we all? But believe me, Frank's jokes are far from good. He cycles through the same ones over and over again like a broken record. It gets my blood boiling just thinking about it. Okay, sorry for ranting. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. On to the story. I was around 6 months into working at Aftermath when this occurred. I wasn't really a newbie anymore, and I was seasoned enough to notice when something seemed off. It was Steven who pointed it out, though. Hey, Kala, have you seen Frank lately? I think it's like 3 days since he's been in, Steven said while wiping the counter. No, come to think of it, I haven't seen him in a while either. Maybe, hopefully, his time is up. I mean, people come and go all the time, don't they? Yeah, maybe you're right. Frank doesn't seem like a bad guy. His time must have been pretty short. Steven mumbled, averting his gaze. Hey, cheer up. I'm sure you don't have much longer. You're a great person in my eyes. I reassured him, shooting him a grin. I'm glad at least someone thinks so. I didn't even have time to respond because a customer shoved the door open before I could. I'll give you one guess who it was. Ding, ding, ding. We have a winner. Yep. It was Frank. Speaking of the fucking devil, it was like we summoned the smug son of a bitch just by saying his name. Normally I'd roll my eyes and start whipping up his usual espresso, but that day was different. Because Frank wasn't alone. He waltzed through the doorway with his arms wrapped around a gorgeous brunette. And when I say gorgeous, I mean gorgeous. Seriously, she looked like she stepped straight out of a magazine. Lush, wavy hair cascaded down her back. Long, slender legs protruded from a short pencil skirt. Beautiful, deep eyes peered around the shop, shimmering like the ocean. And on top of that, the girls weren't shy either, if you know what I mean. I don't swing that way, but I found myself drooling over the enchantress. This had to be some kind of joke, right? Frank was no spring chicken, and this lady was a solid 15 out of 10 on the hotness scale. There's no way he could pull off a bombshell like her. Could he? Frank let go of the girl and lowered his shades. Something else completely new, to make eye contact with her.
Go find yourself a seat, babe. I'll get us something good.
She nodded, surveying the room. The woman took one look at Nona and shuddered. She plopped down at the table furthest from him, which coincidentally is Frank's regular spot. Can't say I blame her. Nona is fucking terrifying. Frank sauntered up to the counter with more swagger than I knew he possessed. Even then, he had a big goofy grin plastered across his face. I always liked that about Frank. Most days he seemed pretty content with life. Or afterlife, I guess. Oh, Frank, I'm impressed. Cute little lady friend you got there. Where'd you meet her?
Oh, you know, out. Not too shabby, huh? I may not be as young as I used to be, but I still got it.
He smirked, glancing at the stunning woman sitting in his normal seat. I'll give it to you. You did good. So what it will be, hotshot? Couple blonde espressos?
She'll have a blonde espresso. I'll take a black coffee.
I stared at him, eyes narrowed. Frank, you don't have to get black coffee to impress her. She won't think any less of you for getting your regular order.
Kala, can you just get me the black coffee? This is the first girlfriend I've had in a while, and I really don't want her to think I'm a wimp.
Wait, hold the phone. Did he say girlfriend? If I had been drinking something, I would have spat it out. This was the first time I'd seen this woman, and those two are already official? The dead don't waste any time, huh? Frank, how long have you been seeing this girl? Where did you meet? What's her name? I want all the details. Spill it, mister. That familiar grin returned to his face.
Most days you won't even crack a smile, but I get a girl and suddenly you're all ears. I see how it is, Kala.
Well, duh. You were gone 3 whole days and now you come with a girlfriend. No shit, I'm gonna want to hear about her. Frank chuckled.
Well, all right. I'll come in some other time and fill you in. Don't want to keep her waiting. Deal?
Sure thing, buddy. Go take a seat. I'll bring your drinks right out. Oh, and Frank, I'm proud of you, I said, shooting him a soft smile. For a second, I thought I could see a tear forming behind his sunglasses.
That means a lot, Kala. It really does. Thank you.
As Frank took his seat opposite from his supermodel girlfriend, Ivan's door cracked open. Right on cue. Of course. I'd be damned if I was going to let that horny bastard ruin Frank's chances with this girl. Ivan licked his palms and slicked back his hair. He swept a few crumbs from his dingy white beater before sauntering over to me and Steven. Gross.
How do I look?
He said, shooting me a wide grin. He had lettuce caught in his teeth, but I wasn't going to tell him that. Disgusting, as per usual. Where do you think you're going?
I'm going to become acquainted with Pretty Lady.
Oh no, the fuck you're not. You will not go anywhere near that girl, do you understand me? I seethed angrily, jabbing a finger towards his chest. This is probably the only woman Frank has ever managed to date, and you will not screw this up for him. Got it?
This is no way to speak to your boss.
Ivan sneered. Oh yeah? Well, this is no way to treat a loyal customer.
Fine, I will not interfere. You're a buzzkill, Carla.
So I've heard, I said as Ivan slunk back to his office. Great job on damage control. I'll make sure he doesn't try anything when you're not around, Steven said, flashing me a thumbs up. Thanks. The last thing we need is that rat bastard sticking his nose where it doesn't belong. Frank and his new lover started coming in regularly. It took about 5 days before Frank switched back to his usual order. I guess he couldn't handle the plain coffee anymore. I was happy for him. I really was. But although he wore a genuine smile whenever he was with her, I couldn't help feeling Frank's new girlfriend was hiding something. Why did I think that, you might ask? Well, to be quite honest, it was the way she looked at Nona. He was no stranger to the normal mean mug stares from other patrons, but this woman didn't just scowl at him. She looked almost disappointed every time she spotted him in his seat, like she was really hoping he wouldn't be there. The whole thing felt strange to me. I needed to know if my concerns were justified. Hey, Steven? I whispered after tending to a customer.
What's up?
Have you noticed anything off about Frank's new girlfriend? I feel like she's up to something. Steven's brows furrowed in confusion.
Nope.
I'll be sure to keep an eye out, though. Why do you ask? Oh, just a feeling. It's probably nothing. It is that time of the month for me, I said, pursing my lips. Whoa, hold it right there, cowgirl. TMI. Whoops, my bad. I watched the pair like a hawk after that. Well, as discreetly as I could at least. Oh, and by the way, Frank never stopped by to fill me in on all the juicy details. I was a little pissed off at him for that, but honestly, I couldn't stay mad at him. He looked truly happy for the first time since I started working at Aftermath. Nona was gone when it happened. It was strange to see his table empty, but it did happen every once in a while. I guess even he had matters to attend to every now and then. It was only Steven and me in the shop. Frank and his new girlfriend, whose name I learned was Kara, shuffled through the door. Kara's eyes lit up when she noticed that Nona was gone. An uneasy feeling twisted in my gut when I saw that.
Kella, can I get the usual?
Frank shouted, waving to me as he headed to his spot. Sure thing, coming right up. I began preparing Frank's order, but I didn't have a chance to finish it, because a nauseating, sickly sweet aroma began wafting throughout the shop before I could. It wasn't like anything I'd ever smelled before. If I had to put a finger on it, I'd say it was like someone had mixed high-end perfume with sulfur, sweet with a putrid scent lurking just below the surface. It took a moment for me to notice that I was paralyzed. I couldn't move a muscle. Fear coursed through my veins like venom. What the hell was going on? Blood pounded in my ears as I watched Kara stand from her seat. She was grinning from ear to ear like a child on Christmas Day. The smell grew stronger the closer she got. That evil bitch. I knew there was something wrong about her. My eyes darted from side to side, searching desperately for anything that might be able to help me. That's when I noticed Steven out of my periphery. I couldn't be sure, but I thought I noticed him wink at me. Kara sashayed up to the counter, leaving Frank alone at his booth to helplessly watch the entire thing. Poor guy. He had been used. My heart shattered for him. Frank might have not been the most prospective dude out there, but he didn't deserve that.
Hello, Kala?
Kara said, squinting to read my name tag. I stared blankly at her in response.
Ha! How inconsiderate of me. You couldn't respond if you wanted to.
Yeah, no shit, lady.
I'm sure that you're wondering why I'm doing this. Well, long story short, you could be a very valuable asset to me. A live girl who can mingle with the dead. You will make a great translator of sorts. I knew that you wouldn't willingly work for a demon, and there's no way that thing would have allowed me to take you. So this was my safest option.
Shit. This is not good. Nona was missing. Everyone was frozen. I had no way to defend myself. Yep, this is it. I'm doomed. My heart pounded against my chest like a jackhammer as Kara whispered into my ear.
You're going to make such a wonderful pet.
I clenched my eyes shut. This couldn't be happening. I was going into shock. Then, suddenly I felt something warm spray on the back of my neck. I opened my eyes. The smell dissipated and I was beginning to regain mobility in my limbs. I slowly turned my head. My eyes grew as wide as saucers when I drank in the scene before me. Stephen was holding a bloody knife. Kara writhed on the ground, desperately trying to stop the bleeding to no avail. She had a deep laceration on her neck. I watched in horror as dark blood pooled around her body. It was the first time I'd seen the light snuffed out of someone's eyes. That's something that I hope I'd never have to bear witness to again. Once her body stilled, I glanced up at Stephen. He looked completely out of it, like he never expected to have to do something so heinous. But eventually, he noticed my stare and abruptly snapped out of it.
Her power didn't work on me. I can't smell.
The shop closed early that day. Ivan called to have the cleaning service take care of the body. Fortunately, they were able to squeeze us in the same day. As I was in a state of shock, but Stephen had it worse than me. He actually had to murder someone to save us. That would take a toll on anyone, living or dead. Frank, Stephen, and I were sitting at his favorite booth waiting for the cleaning crew to finish up. Of course, Ivan had a problem to take care of at the worst possible time, so he left me and Stephen to close up shop. Fucking asshole. Way to treat your employees.
Guys, I know I've said it before, but I am so sorry. I never would have guessed that Kara was a demon, if that's even her real name. I should have known, though. No woman that hot would ever date a loser like me.
Frank said, breaking our tense silence. Hey, don't talk like that. You had no way of knowing. And you're not a loser. You're a cornball. But no loser. I said, flashing him a soft smile.
Thanks, Calla. That's nice of you to say.
A weak grin began to tug on the corners of his lips. What a shitty situation. The cleaning crew waved to us as they carried the body bag out the door. Frank and I returned the gesture. Stephen didn't even look up.
Well, I guess I'm gonna split. Got a lot to think about. Are you two going to be okay?
Frank asked, standing to leave. Yeah, we'll be fine. Eventually. See you later, Frank.
Bye, Calla. Bye, Steve-O.
I'm gonna mop the floor before we go. I won't leave you here. Take as long as you need. I started to stand, but Stephen's fingers suddenly wrapped around my wrist. Kala, wait, there's something I need to tell you, he muttered, glancing up at me. Tears were brimming at the corners of his eyes. My heart dropped into my stomach. This was really getting to him. I quietly returned to my seat and Stephen released his grip. Do you remember when you asked me why I was here? In the in-between? Vaguely, I think, I squeaked, eagerly awaiting his reply. Well, all this got me thinking. I've decided that I'm finally ready to tell you. Stephen, you don't have to do that. I'm fine with No, I need to get this off my chest. I've been carrying this around for too long. I have to tell someone, he said, motioning him to continue. So I'm sure that you might have put the pieces together based on my lack of physical injuries. It's fucked up, you know. The dead have to wear what we die in forever. We can't take it off. It just appears right back on our bodies the second we do. That's why I've always wear a black long sleeve shirt under my uniform. It's what I died in. I always wore long sleeves, even in the summer. And this is why, Stephen said, rolling up the sleeve over his left arm. His skin was racked with track marks. Angry red sores glared back at me. My mouth fell agape. It was starting to all make sense. I was a junkie. I'd do anything for a fix, and I mean anything. I sold my body, I pawned stolen items, conned people out of money, all to get high. But the worst thing I've ever done, what cemented me here, it... Stephen trailed off, choking back tears. I placed a hand on his shoulder. It's okay, you don't need to tell me if you're not comfortable with it. But I do, just give me a second. I can do this. He took a long, deep breath. With his nerves in check, he continued. One night, I was high as per usual, but I wanted more. I was already so fucked up I didn't know where I was, but I was fiending. So I found a random house at the end of a cul-de-sac. It seemed familiar, but I didn't pay that any mind. I peered in the window. I could only see a woman sitting in an armchair watching TV. An easy target. So I smashed the window and climbed in. She wasn't scared though, and that pissed me off. The woman was talking to me, trying to calm me down, but I was so screwed up that I couldn't hear what she was saying. He paused, steadying himself. I could tell that this was taking a toll on him. I felt like I wasn't supposed to hear this, but I couldn't just walk away. I had to listen. I couldn't hear what she was saying. Maybe if I had, I wouldn't be here right now. But I wanted drugs, and this woman had money to buy them. I'll never forget the look on her face when I shot her. Her eyes were so sad, so disappointed. And that's when I recognized her. I betrayed her. How could I do that to her? I couldn't take the guilt, but I could take her money. As she bled out on the floor, I rummaged through her purse and took any cash I could find. Once I sobered up in the morning, the weight of my actions came crashing down on me. It was all so much, so I overdosed. I failed her. Kala, I'm a monster. I deserve to be here. I killed my own fucking mother for a fix. He broke down, sobs wrecking his body. I didn't know what to think. Stephen was such a kind person. How could he do something so disgusting? No, that was another lifetime. He was a new person now. I wrapped my arms around the trembling boy before me. I held him like that for a long time. I felt like a mother consoling a child, and I had no earthly idea what to say. I just knew I had to be there for him no matter what it took. Eventually, Stephen's cries died down. He glanced up at me through teary, empty eyes. I felt so horrible for him. He'd been through so much. You probably think I'm a terrible person now. I don't blame you if you do, Stephen said, pulling away. Hey, I don't think you're a terrible person. In fact, I think you're one of the most genuinely kind, caring people I've ever met. All that was in another life. You've learned from your experiences and used the pain that they caused to better yourself. I think your mom would be proud of the man you've become. And then his visage melted into one of acceptance. He locked eyes with me, a renewed sense of determination sweeping across his countenance. Thank you, Kala. You don't know how much that means. I really hope you're right. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the end of the video. Well, it's been a while since I've done any of this, even spoken in a mic. I'd like to first thank you so much, Horror Junkie 123, for allowing me to narrate another one of your amazing stories. We're 4 parts in, and I can't wait to finish this one out. It is, the part 5 is going to be great. I would also like to thank Dexter and Indie Mads for being a part of this. Links to all of their stuff in the description. Some amazing narrators right there. And amazing voice actors, dude. You guys really helped make this one just even better. I got chills thinking about it. You guys all are awesome. Thank you so much, guys. Anyway, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what your thoughts were about this chapter of the story. The story's getting better and better. Horror Junkie, you're an amazing author. Keep it up, dude. All right, guys. Well, I will see you in the next video. When that will be, we shall see. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.